evening, SBC, SBCC, Big and Sexy Lounge. How y'all doing? Good evening. Welcome to the Tuesday Talk edition of Ask a Man. I hope y'all doing good this evening. And we're so thankful that all of y'all are here this evening. So you know what? This is how we're going to introduce this, ladies, because we're not going to waste any time. So we are here, ladies, for this opportunity to ask these amazing men the questions you've always wanted to ask. And some of these men you've already seen in our in our um in our group, and you may have wanted to ask a specific one a question. So if you have a question for a specific one, definitely address him individually, and we'll make sure he answer that question for you. But before we begin, ladies, as you start thinking about what your questions are, I want you to make sure you greet the fellows in the chat. Okay, and we're gonna give each one of them an opportunity to introduce themselves. Okay, so we're gonna go in order as I call them out in this circle on our screen, and I want each man, each wonderful gentleman, to give us their name, location, age. I'm gonna add that one age because we may have some questions specific to men of a certain, seasoning. Name, location, age, occupation, and relationship status. I know we're single Black Christians, but you may be dating somebody, or you may say, I'm on hiatus. I'm not really dating anybody right now. I'm just kind of just chilling for a moment, but I'm looking for that opportunity. Okay? But be very short because we want to get to these questions, okay? All right, let's start with Chauncey.
Name is Chauncey from Jacksonville, Florida, educator, 37 years old, and I'm single.
Nathan.
I'm Nathan. I am in Cypress, which is northwest of Houston, Texas. I am 61 for about another week, and I'm a photographer.
Okay. And Michael. Okay, we'll come back to Michael. Ian.
I am Ian. I'm from Jamaica. I am 36 years old, and I am a document specialist.
All right. Are you single, Ian?
Yeah.
All right. Kenneth. Can you hear me, Kenneth? Okay.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kenneth. I am 41 years old, and I am dating.
All right. Dating. All right. Reginald.
Hello, I'm Reginald. I'm from Columbia, South Carolina. I'm retired. I'm 61 years of age and single.
All right. Marcus. Marcus.
She hit me with the boomerang. But my name is Marcus. I am currently 39 years old from Birmingham metro area, and I am single and just going with the flow.
He said he going with the flow. I love it. All right, ladies, you have an opportunity to greet these men. And men, as we are going throughout our show, I want you at some point, if you're willing to be contacted by these lovely young ladies that are watching you today, to make sure you put your tag yourself in the comments so they'll know what to click on to get to you, okay? All right, so let's see what we got going on. We got a lot of women. Good. Hey, Sonia. All right. Hey, Tiffany. Hey, Valerie. Hey, Shamika. Hey, Marie. Hey, Theodore. Theodore got my mama name, so I love saying hey to Theodore because I feel like I say hey to my mama. Let's see who else is in the chat. All right. Lynn saying good evening to everybody. She's from Guyana. I think I'm saying that right. I hope I am. And Marie saying good evening, fellas. So, do we have any questions from the women? I'm going to sit here and give it a few seconds. Now, I have a question because I could tell you, the reason I asked for your age, because I want to ask this with some of our seasoned men, because I am a woman who is in the process of dating a little seasoned man as well. And I want to know for myself, this is a personal question. So, men who are over 50, I'm going to say, let me see who we got here. Yeah, over 50, we have two. When dating a younger woman, how much are you willing to adjust your dating style? Because you have a way of dating women. You have things that you do, things you like to do, things you're kind of used to. Are you expecting her to, how are you willing to adjust? Because we can get stuck in our boxes, our little, comfort zones. Are you willing to adjust to her likes and activities and what she wants to do? Or are you really wanting someone to kind of fall into where you want to be when it comes to dating? Nathan, Reginald, start now.
Okay. Actually, that is for me anyway. It's not a matter of age because any woman you meet, you can't put in the same category as the last one you talked to.
That's true.
So you're going to have to do some kind of adjustment to get to, toward her personality, toward her style, toward her love language, whatever it is about her, you're going to be learning her. So I can't confine her and say, okay, hey, you have to fit within this box. And if you don't, then you're out. I mean, if she's the one and if I'm interested, and because of certain situations, I normally date younger women. But yeah, I can't confine them to my style. I have to look at where they are not change myself and not lose myself in the process. But you're going to adjust to that person. And hopefully she's willing to do the same thing.
Great response. Great response. Reginald, would you like to answer?
Yeah, you have to be willing to come out of your quote unquote comfort zone. But like Nathan said, not lose yourself in the process. You always got to be who you are because who you are is who you are. Because you can put that mask on, but sooner or later that mask can come off and a real deal going to come out. So just be real up front. Hey, I want to do this, but in any relationship that's meaningful, there has to be a combination of both. She has to come up to your level, so to speak, and you have to come to her level, so you come as one. Can't have peanut butter without jelly.
Okay,
kind of go hand in hand.
Love that. I like that because I like it. Okay, all right. So we do have a question in the comments from our friend Tiffany Murphy. And she asks, and we're going to go around the room in 2 to 3 sentences. Keep it short and sweet. What is your definition of love? So let's start with Chauncey. What is your definition of love?
I think love is just a selfless act without thinking twice.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, Nathan, what is your definition of love?
Doing what's best for the person you claim you love. It's sacrificing. You want what's in their best interest.
Okay. I like that. Marcus?
I'm about to agree with Chauncey on this one. It is a selfless act as well.
All right. Michael, what's your definition of love?
I would say sacrifice, but I mean, not trying to be churchified, but the word of God said, God is. So and what he did was he sacrificed over sacrifice.
Okay, very good, very good. Ian, what is yours?
The ability to feel, understand, and compromise.
Okay. All right. Kenneth, what is your definition of love?
My definition of love would be I'm like what Ian said, sacrifice, but also communication.
Okay. All right. And Reginald?
Well, love is an action word, so it shows in your actions. People can say things, but your action is always proof in the pudding. So your action is going to tell me where you and how you love.
And I like what you said that, Reginald, because as I'm sitting here in my mind listing the words that y'all said in response to that question, most of them were action words, things that were demonstrated or acted out in some way. But as men, and I'm assuming most of you have been in love before, give me a word that describes how you felt, or when you just, something within yourself when you know that you are in love?
I guess I'll go first.
Yeah, yeah. Whoever wants to
Well,
go first.
I feel like I wasn't even controlling myself no more.
What? Wait. Give me a little bit more on that one.
Okay, so when I fell in love, I usually with someone, I felt like I was in control. But when I was in love, it's like doing things I usually don't do with a normal woman. So I felt
Oh,
like I ain't have no more control anymore. I just felt like the moment overtook me, and I'm just,
you just let loose.
yeah, I just, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anyone else would like to respond to that question? Y'all don't have to respond, but if something you could think of that really can describe how you really knew how you know, because sometimes how we knew we felt in the past is how we know today. Like, man, I really love this woman. I really think I'm in love. Reginald.
When the second person you think of when you wake up, first you think about God first. But if she's the second thing on your mind and stays on your mind all day, yeah, you in love.
Oh, that's so sweet. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
For me, it's when I am respected and heard. I tend to be reserved. I tend to kind of hold thoughts back. But if I know I can express myself and she's listening and without condemning, without judging, without looking at me funny, and truly understands where I'm coming from without telling me how to think per se, that means a lot. Because often as men, we're not listened to. We're not supposed to have opinions. We're not supposed to think. We can't say what we want to say. So to have a woman in your life who says, "Okay, hey, I hear you," that's a big deal.
Okay. Okay. Michael, unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
I would say this also. When in love, I would say that that person is going to stand out from the rest, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay. All right, Marcus.
Um, I'm kind of like in the lines of what Chauncey did say. You just lose it. I was just lost in translation anyway. I mean, when you fall in love, you just don't even think. Hey, you can't even think for yourself. You only think about the person that you just fell in love with, just automatically, just like that. But I was not even a thinker at that time, so that was like the proverbial band-aid for me.
So what I'm hearing from all of you men is that you know you're in love, basically, when this woman is just a part of your every thought.
Well, in my case,
A part of how you live your everyday. You're thinking about her first.
yeah, in
And
my
how you
case,
plan your day, how you plan your week, how you when you wake up, who am I concerned about? Like Rachel said, I'm God, but I'm still the next person I'm thinking about is this woman.
yeah, in my case, it's when I'm willing to share my personal control button.
That's good.
And that's just the long and short of it.
Okay. So in other words, you're really to reveal all of who you are.
In other words, when I have my own control button to myself, I do what I want when I want, if I want. When I share my control button with you, in other words, you now affect what I do, if I do, when I do.
Well, all right. Okay. That was good stuff. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Let's see what question we had. I thought I saw something from Marie Johnson. Gentlemen, how would you describe yourself in, she said 10 words. I'm going to give you 5. Give me 5 distinct words. And some of y'all have said a few things because you say you describe some things that are important to you. But because these women are, they shopping. Okay? They shopping. So these are good questions. 5 distinct words that describe you.
I'm gonna say this. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I would say, with myself, I'm gonna say I'm very loving, very caring. I'm a edifier.
All right.
You know, I wouldn't say I'm a man. I'm a straight man. I'm gonna say I would be her biggest. I would say her biggest cheerleader for one. Not saying it in a gay way. No, we're not doing that. But I would say what else? Family oriented and just that helped me. I would say.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Just fine.
Oh, my fault. My fault.
No, I'm just messing with you,
My
Michael.
fault. Let me mute myself.
All right, Marcus, you want to go next?
10 words or less.
5. We're doing 5
10,
now. We're not doing 10. We're doing 5. This
five, five
five,
words.
5 adjectives. 5 adjectives.
Sensitive.
Okay.
Um, caring. And brave and courageous.
Let's go.
I give you 4 on that one.
Okay. Anyone else want to take this question? 5 words, 5 adjectives. Tell me about
Well,
yourself.
Um,
Even if you can describe yourself, even if you're dating, you can.
Hey, the way my
talkative.
relationship set up, and Reggie know how my relationship is set up, I'm gonna throw my hands up on this one. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We understand, sir.
Um,
Is it Chauncey
I
or
guess
Reggie?
I
Go ahead, Chauncey. and then
Reg,
we'll
you want to
bring
go,
in
Reg?
Reggie.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Funny, outspoken, passionate, thought-provoking,
Mm-hmm.
curious.
Okay. Okay, Reggie.
Yeah.
Lovable, caring, hospitable, spontaneous, and discerning.
Oh, discerning. That's a good one. All right. So when you're on these Facebook
oh,
group like we are on now,
oh,
and
you didn't see my hand?
I'm sorry, Ian. Go ahead. Look. I don't have. Everyone doesn't have to answer. I'm trying to move along so we can get some more questions.
Oh, well, all right. It's fun loving, God loving. I would say, oh yes, outspoken, caring, and free. Let me use the term romantic for the purpose of the life.
Were you about to say another word?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
All right now. Look, when I'm on
Yes,
this
you
show,
were.
when I'm on this show, straight up single black Christians,
I withdrew it. I withdrew it for the purpose of the life.
We do it today because we ain't got nobody sitting up here compromising their ministry on this show. Okay, not with me. Okay? Not with me on here. We not doing that. Ian. All right. So hold on. We had a question. Hold on. So Charlene asked, "How do we know when you have met the right one for you?" I think they described that when they talked about how do they know they're in love. I think what they said in response to that question really helped me. Have you met the right one? I mean, I think y'all basically answered that when you knew you were in love, you knew because of that. So okay, so let's go on to Jackie's question about because you're on this show and you're gonna in this group with 20 thousands of women in this group, and you're gonna encounter somebody who's not in your city or state. They may be some in the next state over or halfway across the country. What is your perspective on long distance relationships?
I'll go first on that one.
Okay.
Because I'm on the West Coast, and the person that I'm in a relationship with, she's on the East Coast. So we have to make sure that that communication piece is there. When I wake up in the morning or when I'm at work, a message goes out. We talk throughout the day, and I really think that sometimes you're not gonna find love at your local Walmart, or you're not gonna find it at your local post office. Men, we're gonna have to come outside of our box because we've tried everything in our local city, and it's not working for us. So we have to be open to trying new things. Hey, it works. It's working for me. I'd say it's almost going on a year now, and it's working well. That's working very well.
All right.
Can
Who's
I ask?
next?
I want to answer that. I want to follow what the man of God said. Okay, my situation right now is the opposite of what he said. I'm on the East Coast and they're on the West Coast. Now, being that we are actually in a this technology state now, you have to actually go. I would say outside the box, meaning that you have FaceTime. You have to allow that let that person know that I'm here for you because there's a big difference. I mean, a big distance between you and her. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to have you. It's like more or less. If she was local, yes, there's communication. But being that she's not local, that communication it have to be more than what it would be if it was local. If that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? To let that person know, look, I know there's a distance between us, but I am really serious about you. You understand what I'm saying? And you have to allow that person to really know that it's you and only you. I'm not playing games behind your back, being that there's a distance. No, ma'am, we're not doing that.
All right.
Let me answer. Long distance can work. I've done it before, but there needs to be a plan for who's going to relocate.
Right.
And if I can be honest, I'm not doing long distance no more than 2 years. You can't have a long distance relationship and you dating 4, 5, 6 years trying to figure stuff out. Somebody needs to be planning on getting married. Somebody needs to be planning on moving. All of that needs to be talked about and discussed during that probably the first 6 months or so. I mean, you're not rushing into marriage, but all of that needs to be discussed because that's going to happen. Because if you're dating for marriage and if it's long distance, you have to consider every aspect of that relationship. You know, who's going to visit who first? How often are you going to see each other? When are you coming there? Who's buying the tickets? Who's staying where? All of that stuff has to be talked about. You know, this is not, some Hallmark movie. This is real life. So communication, one of the other brothers said, communication is important. And that needs to be talked about.
And brothers, don't be scared to buy a plane ticket.
Right. Right.
Don't be scared to get on Spirit or Southwest or whatever floats your boat or fits your pocket.
Not Spirit, bro.
Because
No, not Spirit.
don't if you need to get on the Greyhound, get on the Greyhound. I can only tell you what works for me.
You see,
She came out first, then I went to her, then we went somewhere together, and now it's her turn to come here in March. And in April, I go to her, and May we back together again, going somewhere else. So, and like you said, brother, the conversation piece has to be there. It has to be there. From day one, it's like, hey, this is what it is. This is our plan. We got you on the clock. We got 3 years. And if it ain't happening in 3 years, then hey. And brethren, I know we got jobs and we got all this stuff, but don't be scared to relocate. Don't be scared.
if I may add, living outside of the continental United States of America, I don't have such, the same privileges like, you're going to jump on a Greyhound or Spirit or whichever one y'all tend to choose. So if I'm going to date somebody in the US at this point in time, I'm able to travel there. I'm a tourist, but the hoops that you have to go through, it has to be worth it when it comes to me. I've been traveling to the US for the past maybe 4 years. They let me in and say, you can come and travel around. And so if I'm going to date somebody there, they will have to understand that it's not as easy as me going from New York to Chicago and just jumping on Frontier, because you just want to get up and land. It has to be planned. And it's even easier for somebody from the US to come here than for me to travel back and forth there. And we're not even looking at just plane tickets. We're looking at the feasibility of it because it's across the waters, it's international. And when I go to the US 2 times in 1 year, immigration stops me and asks me a lot of questions. So it has to be worth it. But I'm all for it though. I'm all for taking all the risks. I'm all for traveling. I'm all for moving about. I'm all for jumping all over the place if I have to, and relocating if I have to, or relocating her here if I have to. It all just takes planning, and both of y'all have to come to a conclusion, and I'm all for that.
When it comes to long distance dating relationships, it's just simply this: long distance relationships teach you and test you see if this really worth it. It takes, like everybody said, it takes in work, takes sacrifice, takes risk. Man, dating alone in relationships risk, but when it's long distance, it really proves, do I really want this with this person? And also to the other person proves like, do I really want to be with this person? It takes a whole lot of sacrifice that you won't normally do to make it work. But yeah, I believe they can work. It just all depends on the person willing to go the extra mile for it. And yeah, that's all I gotta say about it.
I would.
I'm not a fan of LDRs, but I'm open to it. It's not my first choice. Um, when you talk in a long distance relationship, that requires a lot of planning, but that is dating with a purpose. That's not your average dating somebody here in the city. You talking long distance, especially east or west. That's a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of investing. And so when you're doing something like that, you're doing that with a purpose in mind. That ain't something that you casually do, grab a ticket and fly across country just to hang out at Burger King, or some other restaurant. It's you're doing that because that person has gotten your attention enough where you're willing to make that sacrifice to do that. Especially if you're working, and the way these airlines are working now, you might leave from your city that you're flying from, but coming back, that might be a whole different ball game. So it's a lot of sacrifices and planning, but that's something that you really, truly want to do. It's not something that you casually do. You're talking long distance. Now, if you're talking 2 or 3 hours, say from Columbia to Atlanta or Columbia to Charleston or Columbia to Savannah, that's fine. But when you're talking Columbia to Los Angeles, that's a whole different ball game. That's not something that you're gonna do and come right back. That requires a hotel, that requires food and everything else.
PTO, all that stuff. PTO, all of them.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And a lot, like you said, a lot of planning ahead. A lot of planning ahead. All right, Marcus, and who else has not responded to this question? Y'all want to respond? Do y'all have a response? We can move on if you're okay. But I knew for the two who are in a relationship right now, a long distance relationship, and I think Kenneth basically answered that question. But I guess the question is for Michael: how often do you see your long distance love?
Ooh, wait. All of my business. I'm just kidding. Um, I'm just kidding. I'm
I
just
mean,
kidding.
people are wondering how do you make it work? People want
Okay.
to look at other examples and see how are they making it work? What's feasible? What is doable?
I mean, basically, oh man, it's a lot. I would say how I'm making it work. When I do go and visit, I don't just visit for a weekend. I try to give her at least a week.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like this though. Um, if I can't see you, quote unquote, every weekend, then why not visit you a week? Because I can't come every single month. So I would say how it look now. Basically, I would say maybe every other month,
For a
just
week every other month. That's deep.
for a week, because you know what I'm saying. Because you really have to let that person know that I'm serious.
Ooh,
You know what I'm
okay.
saying. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to be a hoe. figure speech. You know what I'm saying? So you have to know that. Look, I know there's a distance, but I chose you. You know,
That's so sweet. Oh
you
my
know,
God.
yeah. But I would say this also. I want to put this out there too. Being that what I said, you really have to be led. You know what I'm saying? Because constantly, I'm not trying to be churchified, but I'm gonna keep it real. Constantly, I consulted God. Is this the one?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And every time there was a situation between us, the Lord always gave me peace about it. So I continue on going forward with the relationship. You know what I'm saying? So you really want to be led,
That's
not
true.
just not just led by your flesh. I would say. You know what I'm saying? Be led of the Holy Ghost. You know.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Let
Okay.
me
Go
let me
ahead,
add one
Nathan.
thing real quick. When we're talking long distance, it's not for the faint of heart,
You're right.
Yes,
and
for sure.
you it, you have to really want that. I mean, just like my brother's saying, because when it comes down to it, you don't want to invest 4, 5, 6 months, a year with somebody. Then when it says, okay, hey, let's talk about relocating. Oh, I'm going to a new state. I don't know nobody there. I don't know. How can I do this? And then you start backing away. So now you wasted months of time
Mm-hmm.
when you weren't sure in the first place. So
Right.
make sure that that's what you like we were saying, make sure you can commit to that,
Right.
because you don't want to invest that and months, a year down the line, a year and a half down the line, oh, I don't think this is for me. Well, you knew that a year and a half ago. So I'm just saying, if you decide this is what you want, if that man, if that woman is who you say you want, look at it, look at that end goal and see if that's what you can really handle.
All right, gentlemen. I'm going to combine a couple of questions on here because I see some ladies that asking some things that are relatable. Um, so thinking about the woman that you ideally want, because I always feel like aesthetics, the beauty, all that is subjective, but there's some things, definite things you're like, I gotta have this, or I'm not going to deal with this. So give me three things that you have to have, and three things that are just are well, you're not going to deal with. Is that the best way of saying it? Because I have questions. What are some non-negotiables for you in a relationship? And I also think in perspective, like, what are some things you like? She got to have this, this, and this, and then these are three things that I'm just not going to deal with. I've been there, done that, and we are not revisiting that mess, or
Well,
whatever.
well, the one thing that I'm not going to deal with as a big negative is the lies and the deception and the half stepping. Those are
Wait,
three things I'm not going to deal with because
women
been
lie?
there, done that.
Women
And,
lie? Hold up.
and
Wait. Women lie?
Hold up. Now,
wait a minute.
Mark,
Now look. I'm just saying from my perspective, Nathan. I'm saying from my perspective. Not
so
everybody.
Marcus,
Not everybody can lie.
so
Uh,
Marcus, let me understand because you said a
I
term.
saw what you did there, Nathan.
uh,
So Marcus, you said a statement half stepping. Tell me what half stepping means.
sheesh. How can I put this one in one thing that I don't want to undergo the mental abuse. I don't want you to I don't want you to play with my head. That's all I can say.
Oh, I
I don't
got
want you to play with my head because if you got me thinking, oh, I believe you, so I'm gonna believe you for right now, and then it turns out to be a whole big lie right there, then guess what? You're not gonna fall. You're not gonna have me fall into that trap. You're
All
not
right.
gonna have me fall in that trap, prospectively. But the one thing, there's certain things that I can't tolerate. Hey, but there's some things I can't tolerate though.
So what's your
So
three positives? What's your three things you have to have in that next woman or any woman?
let's see. Hey, she's got to be She got to be responsible to my situations, my feelings, and my emotions, where I come from as a personal background here. She also has to be. She also has to be very sensible. She has to be very, very caring to me.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the third thing I want to go. And this is also the number one thing I wanted: sense of humor. She has to have a sense of humor. She's got to be equally funny. Yeah, she's got to be equally funny. She's got to be equally silly to me. Hey, because I didn't put this as a fifth word. I'm equally silly as well at times, anyway. But I tell it like it is. That's because I come from a parent that's very resilient, but has a whole lot of spice. Right.
Marcus said he's spicy. Okay.
Right. But
all right now.
but those are three things I can tolerate. But the three things the three biggest things.
So who else wants to go next? Three positives or three negatives? Chauncey.
I'm just gonna go with.
Somebody needs to mute because I hear my voice somewhere else is echoing. Okay, go ahead, Chauncey. I'm sorry.
Okay, the three things non-negotiables. Cannot be with a woman with trust issues. We ain't got time breaking down walls. That just takes too much. I don't not want to spend time doing that. Insecurities. Need for you to know yourself. Need for you to know yourself. Need for you to know your whole self. Know what you bring to the table. So no insecurities. And I really don't have a third one. So I'm just gonna go on. I need someone that's, a goofball because I love telling jokes, okay? I'm good for a good joke. Any time of the day. Multiple times a day. I need a prayerful woman.
Mm-hmm.
I need a woman that's gonna cover me as much as I cover. She gotta be the backbone. She gotta cover you, boy.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing is passionate. She gotta have a driver by herself, walking on her home steps. She knows what she offers the world. And she don't need no man to do that. She could do it on her own. So those are the three things I'm ready
All right.
in a woman.
Who wants to go next?
Well, in my case, a non-negotiable. She can't be a non-Christian. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna marry a non-Christian. And if I'm gonna date one who is not yet a Christian, she should be on the runway already, and close to that. If I decide to do that, that's a non-negotiable. Um, Another non-negotiable is somebody who has been can I say this? Forgive me, divorced twice or more. Uh, it has too many questions surrounding that when that has happened. And three, somebody that has trust issues or too many insecurities. And I'm going to put the emphasis on too many, because somehow we all have some, but when it becomes overbearing, I can't negotiate around that. I'm 36, so I don't have the time to be a full-time therapist while being a full-time husband. I can be a part-time therapist. So once it passed a certain level, there's a battle I can't fight, because we're all built with different type of muscle mass, and I have to know my limits. Something that she has to have a love for children. She must have had a good relationship with her parents, because I'm going to judge it that she's going to have a good relationship with me and my parents if she has one with hers. And three, if she is already a mom, the way how she treats her child is going to tell me the way how she will treat mine. And those are the three things. And if I should say from a physical point of view, I like her bigger than myself. I'm a bit small, so I like women on the bigger, chubbier side of things, and I don't normally go below that threshold.
Okay, y'all hear them, ladies? Okay, Ian like some thickens. All righty. Who's next? Who wants to answer? Two positives. Three positives, three negatives.
Let me get this out, because I've been over here squirming in my seat.
I'm sorry, Kenny.
And I heard all the brothers. I know we all got our positives and our negatives, but we got to stop for a minute to think about why she has trust issues and why she has insecurities. It's not because of her own doings. It's because of something that we have done.
That's true.
Now I'm just stirring the pot. So I'm gonna let y'all go back to the question.
I
But
agree
we,
with
we
you.
gotta stop. And
I
and
agree
and
with
so
you.
when we meet a woman who got insecurities and who has trust issues, it is our responsibility to show her what a real man is. Because she got the insecurities and she got the trust issues from somebody who thought they was a man but really wasn't. And we all been there. We all played. I can't speak for what y'all have done, but I ain't always been saved. I ain't always been preaching.
I agree with you,
And,
but
and so,
I'm bent to say to you that while you are very correct, uh, you see, the thing is, us as men, we have a duty to make sure that she's comfortable and she gets over her insecurities. However, after you get to certain levels or age, and I'm defending myself and other brothers that may have said it, you now expect that myself as a man, when I get into a relationship, I have some degree of healing from what my past has done for me. It's not fair for me if I'm 55 or 60 and I'm trying to date and I spend, half of my remaining 70 and 10 years, trying to fix something that another man that's not me have, caused. And it's fair that somebody will have insecurities. I will understand that. We all have it. It is fair that we all also have to seek healing, because if you bleed on somebody else, they may think they're the one who either is bleeding or has caused the wound. And us as men, we need to do that for our insecurities. And while you cannot be devoid of it, I think it's fair for us to say that there are certain levels of it that we can take after a certain age. At 25, I could take anything because I have time to work it out. At 55, we are not going to do a long, because we don't have a lot of time on this earth, and we won't spend all that time doing that. I think it's fair for everybody. If you're ill, seek, medical attention, because when I put my illness on a woman who has nothing to do with it, what I'm doing, I'm forcing her into a corner and then giving her the real woman clause to engage sensationalism. And I don't think it would be fair for her if I do that. She has to have the option to say, no, Ian, I can't work with this. And I have to understand that she can't work with it. It's a balance.
So let me say this as the only woman on the screen, but I'm going to say this from a perspective that crosses both genders. As we deal with life circumstances, relationships, and all, things happen to us that are still emotional triggers, regardless of our age. It could have been the last relationship, or it could have been a traumatic relationship that happened 10 years ago. I have noticed, because I watch behavior, I try to be, I feel God is giving me this discerning aspect about who I am and how I listen and be attentive to other people. We watch, as women, we watch behavior. Now, if you're doing something like what the last Negro did, we're keen, we're zooming in. Because now it's like, hold on, he just did something and he's been acting a certain way, like someone did in the last relationship or someone before. And we know there's nothing new under the sun. We're old enough to know there's nothing new under the sun. So we watch behavior, we watch mannerisms, and it may be just a little light trigger. I'm not going to worry about it. He only did it one time. He only did something, but it's not who he is. It's not, I just misread that. But repeated behavior that reminds you of something that happened in the past with someone else cause you to zoom in, ask questions, and really try to understand who that person is. So I think we have to realize that people will have some trust issues because these things have triggers. The past hurts have triggers, and we may not even know it's a trigger until we encounter it later on. Does that make sense? And that's on the male side as well. Some woman may have done something, and you're like, hold on, she just did something that Ella May did 5 years ago, and now I gotta watch her to make sure she ain't doing the Ella May on me. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
But
Nathan. Like he ready to say something. I'm sorry, Nathan.
no, just going along with what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Even when it happens that first time, that's where communication needs to take place.
Yes.
Because what happens often is that we'll call something a red flag because we've seen it 4 or 5 times and didn't address it.
Mm-hmm.
But if we address it the first time, where hey, you know what, I'm not, this may not be much to you, but hey, when you say it this, I mean, because for example, I've heard this several times. I'll use myself as an example. Because of my tone of voice, people tell me I sound angry, and so when I say certain things, when I talk a certain way, I've been told, hey, when you say this, it made me think about it. I say, okay, well, I didn't know that. So I wasn't aware. So now I have to make sure I'm watching my tone. I watch my words. When I talk at a certain time of day, when I talk at a certain time in the evening, I have to be aware of that because it's been brought to my attention. But if it's not brought to my attention, I can't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
So communication in that aspect is very important.
Could I say this too? Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
I would say also, as an older man, as a, I would say it's very important. Okay, how can I say this? Sometimes we as men, we have to wear different hats.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that sometimes, even though she is your mate, your lover, sometimes you might have to come as, I would say, that pastor. Sometimes you might have to come as her lover. Sometimes you might have to come as her best friend. Meaning that whatever the situation is, that hat that is the hat which you need to wear, just so she will be healed in that particular situation. If that makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
you feel
I
me?
mean, you're right because we're all different aspects of ourselves. I'm a sister. I was a daughter. I'm a friend. I'm a godmother, and we in those different ways about ourselves, we communicate differently. We receive information differently. So you're right. When we're in a relationship, sometimes I just gotta be this friend and listen. Sometimes he needs the intimacy of my touch
Right.
and my cuddling. And sometimes it's just like, hold on now, we business partners too, because we in this relationship and we about to bring this together. So now it's about you need the business aspect of who I am. The project manager, the home economics, whatever you're going to call it. We have these different parts of ourselves and we have to bring that to the forefront based on the conditions of what's going on in front of us. So you're right. Sometimes he may just need you to listen, and that's it. And sometimes as women, we need men to listen. We don't need you to hug and kiss on us. Sometimes we just want you to hear us speak and listen, and we don't need you to solve it. And when we need you to solve it, we're going to ask you to solve it sometimes. So, it's us listening, y'all listening, we all listening. So anyway, let me stop because I'm not trying to speak for all the women. I'm just, saying my stuff. Mike said, did anybody else want to respond to the 3 and 3 or even about the emotional triggers or anything before we move forward? We all good?
I would say this also. When when that situation do come up, I would say actually what I had to go through person in this present relationship, I had to learn from it. You feel me? I really had to learn from it. Not just learn from it, but I had to learn her in order to actually allow myself to move forward in this relationship.
Yes.
And to actually allow her to actually trust me and to let her know, look, I might have remind you of quote unquote John Doe, but I'm not John Doe. But I'm glad you told me about what happened in your past, and I've let her know, look, we could get through this together.
And that requires commitment.
Yes.
That requires getting to know one another and learning all these ways about ourselves and the other person requires commitment. You have to be all in. These are not things you do when you're searching and you're swiping and you're getting to know 2 or 3 people at the same time. It's just one-on-one. You only really do that on a one-on-one basis. All right, Mike, we had another question. I'm trying to figure out, and okay, gentlemen, do you feel that the women should initiate conversations in order for you to be interested in her? So who makes the first move?
I would say
Matter.
In my situation now, she was more. She did stuff that I would do. You feel
What does
me?
that mean?
I would say the way we met, the things that I would actually do to move it forward. But when I recognize it, that okay, she doing this, I begin to take lead. You understand? I didn't just sit there and allow her to be aggressive. I took lead. Okay, she already opened that door. Let me go ahead and go in further with this.
Mm.
You feel me?
Okay, I understand that.
I'm
Okay.
gonna be quiet. I'm talking too much.
Okay. All right, gentlemen.
Well, I don't think for me it really it's not important as to who makes the first move. I'm already an expressive person, so if somebody makes the first move, it is a guarantee that I'm gonna move. We're gonna play checkers today, and I'm gonna move. And I definitely will take charge of the conversation from then on. So some we don't, we don't always see, and sometimes we see and we're shy. There was somebody in the group that I used to date, if I may say, and how we met, we're still friends, but how we met was I've been always been commenting on her posts and supporting her conversation, but she was the first one to DM me and say, "Oh, hello, what's up?" Yada yada, and then I took the conversation from there,
Mm.
and it really tells me that if I was just shy. I was like, okay, let me butter it up a little bit, let me see if I can soften her up a little bit and then ask for a DM, when really she was softened up from a long time ago and got impatient and be like, let me inbox this guy because he's slow. And so yeah, we're slow sometimes, so it's okay if you initiate, say hi, and we'll say hi back. Just don't ghost us after we say hi back, we'll be good.
All right.
I think
Marcus.
we I
Oh,
think we
Nathan. Go
have
ahead,
to get
Nathan.
past women thinking, and I'm not saying all women, but we have to get past women thinking that if they say hi first, they're chasing us, or they're being aggressive, or they're acting like a man. That's not the case. Um, I was raised by my grandparents. My grandmother used to say, "A closed mouth won't get fed."
Mm-hmm.
So if there is someone you're interested in, simply saying, "Hi, how are you?" in most cases will get the ball rolling. You know, I mean, it doesn't take a lot, but often because of the ratio of men to women in the group, most times we
Mm-hmm.
may not notice her and she may notice us first. So, yeah, fine, say hi, but it's going to be a matter of, as Ian said, being consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Don't say hi and then we don't hear from you for a month and a half and then you come back and say hi again. I mean, yeah, we get that too sometimes. So,
Mm.
it's just a matter of consistency. But if whoever makes the move, just keep it going from that point. Because if we're interested, we're going to be interested. And most of us mature men, if we're not interested, we will respectfully say that too.
Okay. All righty. Anyone else would like to respond? Go ahead, Reginald.
I don't mind if she makes the first move. And once that door is open, then I'll take over. Um, but because I'm so popular on Facebook, I get a lot of DMs. But I have to kind of separate those who are hackers as opposed to those who really want to get to know me.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of folks would DM me just to get on my page so they can get a birthday post.
Ooh.
So, yeah, so I have to kind of watch that, and if they are consistent and they do it more than once, then okay, I'll say, okay, they're really interested in me. But with this hacking that's going on, sliding your DMs, because they sliding your DMs don't mean they really want to talk to you. They might want something from you, but ain't no relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to decide on if this person is really legit, and that goes both ways, men and female. Just because person sliding your DMs does not necessarily mean they're interested in you. They might be interested in what they can get from you. and not you.
All right now. Chauncey, Marcus. Oh, Marcus, you had your hand up a minute ago. I'm sorry. I think I went out of order.
I think I know why Reginald's popular on Facebook. It's got to be the red suit that he had wore 2 weeks ago. It's got to be that sharp red suit there. But as far as who makes the first move, it's a matter of who wants to open their mouth first. Who wants to open up the conversation here? But I don't think it doesn't matter to me as to who makes the first move. To be quite honest with you, and if you open that door, like Reginald said, I can walk back in. But as far as my perspective is concerned, open-mindedness it's a very key thing. You have to be open-minded sometimes, anyway. Mm-hmm. I mean, listen, I have to be very expressive. I have to be very expressive if I want to express the intent of how I'm feeling and where I'm coming from here. Mm-hmm. So, in any case, long story short, it really doesn't matter to me. Whoever opens it up, if I open up, you can come in. But if she opens up, hey, equally, equal minds think alike.
All righty. Anyone else want to respond?
Yeah. Do I feel that a woman should initiate the conversation in order for me to be interested in her? Nah. If I'm interested, you will hear from me. Believe that. I will inbox you real quick. Listen, ain't no shame in my game. If and at times there's some hit and misses. So, if you're interested in me and you just want to hit me up, hey, you come by my radar and say, hey, what's up? I want to continue that conversation because like I said, I'm curious. I want to find out what's up. See if you really are interested in me or you just flying by, So I have to say no. I mean, I can do it for myself, but if I'm not paying attention, I'm not getting signs because sometimes things go over my head. Sometimes I live this thing called life. Mm-hmm. So if you're passionate about pursuing me, saying, "Hey, I just need him to pay attention to me," if you say, "Hey, you bust to believe," I'm gonna respond back with a lot of words. That's
right. All right. I believe we have one more question before we're going to close out the show. This has been so wonderful. I really hope the women have been enjoying it. It seemed like based on these comments they have. So, I know some ladies who may have missed the very beginning of the show. I want the men to go through one more time and give us your location. Okay, that's your location. And we know Michael is dating. We know Kenneth is dating. So the other men are single and ready to mingle. So, Chauncey, where are you?
I'm in good old Duval. I'm just sorry. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. Sorry, I had to get all over the chest.
Nathan, he is on the screen. He's in Cypress, Texas. All right, Nathan. I'm working in Houston this week, so you're not far from me right now.
Right,
Reginald,
Columbia, South Carolina.
Columbia,
South Carolina.
Columbia, South Carolina. Ian is in Jamaica. What part of Jamaica are you in, Ian?
Ocho Rios.
All right, now we have a beautiful resort. Ocho Rios. And Marcus is in Birmingham, Alabama. Michael, you're in the DMV, right? What part of the DMV are you in?
I'm actually in I'm from DC originally, but I'm actually in PG County, Maryland.
All right, Prince George County, Maryland. All right, and I believe Kenneth is somewhere on. He's dating, but he's also on the West Coast. I can't remember it was state of Washington or Oregon. I'm not sure where he is.
Yeah, I'm in Washington State. Yeah.
He's in Washington State. All right, now so we have one more question for the ladies from one of the ladies before we close, and that question is from Tiffany. She said, if you were to cook a meal for a first date. I just think it's so sweet when men cook. I was this relationship that I'm in. He cooked, and I'm like, oh, he can cook. I'm in for a little while now. So, what would you cook on that first date?
Oh, it's simple. It's lasagna.
Ooh, all right now. Chauncey said lasagna. What are you cooking, Nathan?
It depends, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I go back to how I was taught to cook,
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably doing some smothered chicken, some rice, spinach, something like that. But I lean more health conscious now, so I'm probably going to air fry something. So it depends on how I'm feeling at the moment. But I'm probably going to do something, some kind of soul food.
All right, Reginald.
Surf and turf would come to mind, or seafood, or do a down home cooked meal like fried chicken, candy yams, macaroni and cheese, collard greens, that type of deal. Because it doesn't necessarily always go through the man's stomach, but sometimes you can catch a woman by what goes through her stomach as well.
All right, now fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, and yams. Then how the little Shirley Caesar song go? All right. Ian, what are you cooking?
Well, if I breakfast me I go cook, I'll be cooking some ackee and saltfish with ground provisions. If I'm going to do dinner, then probably do some curried goat with white rice or curried chicken. I'm not good at oxtail, so I'm gonna think we're going to try that one. But yeah, fried chicken is my specialty. But curried goat is for visitors, to get her hooked.
You got to hook them.
Right. Marcus.
Oh, there she go with the boomerang again.
I like messing with my
Recipes to
friend.
Eartha Kitt. Recipes to Eartha Kitt. I think I did it one time. Probably didn't come out a little salty, but I cooked at one time rice and beet tips at one point.
Okay, Marcus.
And if I had to add on the rice and beet tips, I'd probably open up the collard greens.
Okay, Marcus, we're gonna work with you.
I'm still in training.
Yes, baby, you in training because
I'm
when you
still
said
in training.
don't cook anything you have not cooked more than 2 or 3 times. You said for the one time and it didn't come out too right, and you said open up some greens. I mean, that's sort of thing.
I'm still in training. Look,
Okay.
you can't blame a brother for trying, though.
Yeah,
you can't blame a brother for trying.
You may have to
It's
DoorDash.
it's the mommy side on me. It's the mommy side.
You better get you some DoorDash and put it on your own plates.
There you go.
Mike, what you cooking?
For me,
I'm still in training, y'all. Forgive me, Long.
So, Michael, what you cooking?
well, actually, I would probably do seafood.
Okay.
The other side dishes, I'm not really sure, but I would do seafood because I know she likes seafood.
All right. Kenan, what you cooking, man?
What am I cooking? It'll be some kind of fish.
Mm-hmm.
For our sides and dessert, we have to go by what she would like. I'm trying to do this healthy thing. I'm not trying to eat like I was raised in Mississippi.
Okay.
Because I want to be around to enjoy her.
Mm-hmm.
And so it'll be some kind of fish or seafood dish.
Okay. Sounds good. Y'all, this has been so wonderful. This has been so great. I have truly enjoyed it so much. And I hope the ladies have enjoyed it as well. They are all in these comments. They tell me how delicious all these entrees have sound. Y'all making them hungry, especially about that lasagna and all of that, and the smothered chicken and the fried chicken, but macaroni and cheese and yams and all that. So before we close out, make sure, as the show closes, make sure you tag yourself in the comments if you want to be contacted. Okay. Whether it's just tell them to DM and put because sometimes your Facebook name is not the same name that's listed on your page on what we have on the screen right now. So make sure you tag yourself in the comments so the ladies can send you a DM. Has anybody received a DM since the show started?
I haven't checked.
No one's checking? Okay.
No.
Well, I'm gonna ask for a report later. Because I'm curious if these women are as active in their search as they detail that they may be. Okay.
All right. Hey,
Leslie.
So, there's this person that posted the same question like 3 times. She's asking if any of the men want kids.
Oh, okay. Well, let me go around the group one more time.
How
many kids do you have, and do you want more?
I'm gonna answer that first. Yeah. For one, I am 50 years old. Mm-hmm. My daughter is 18. Mm-hmm. My daughter been hollering siblings for the longest. Mm-hmm. So if the opportunity come up, sure I will, because she's yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah. Marcus.
I don't have any kids on my own, and quite frankly, I do not want any because I have too many nieces and nephews and a great nephew, and of course, speaking to a friend, I have godchildren. I had 2 goddaughters that I keep up with long distance as a friend. Okay. So
you got a lot going on. Okay, you got a lot of cribs under the Christmas tree. And you said you do want more children. Do you have any children currently?
No, I have no children. I have no children. I would love at least 2, and I'd take some stepkids along the way too. It don't matter.
All right, ladies, you hear that? He's willing to be a stepdaddy. All right, next, Chauncey, Nathan, and Reginald. Chauncey, how many do you have, if you have any, and how many? Well, do you want more? Do you want kids? Second part of that question.
First of all, I have none. Yes, I do want kids. 3 at the max. I don't mind being a stepdaddy, because I live in an age where, my married woman that already have kids, so I'm down for that. So.
All right, Nathan.
I have a 36-year-old daughter, a 21-year-old son. If she has children, I would love them as my own, but I am 61. I'm done.
Okay, Reginald.
I don't have any, and it was always my desire to be a father. So, if God's going to do an Abraham with me, I'm not going to reject it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's right.
That's it.
All right, hey, you willing to be Abraham, father of all. Kenneth, how many do you have, and are you willing to have any kids? You're on mute.
Okay, yeah, I do have kids. My oldest is 18. Mm-hmm. My youngest are 10. And hey, the more the merrier. The more the merrier.
That's right.
I love it. This has been great. This has been wonderful. So y'all know this is Tuesday Talk. This is the conclusion of the Tuesday Talk edition of Ask a Man. This has been the first one we've ever had where we had an all-men panel hosted by a female, me, Leslie. So I was happy to be here.
Great job.
Truly thankful to Mike for giving me this opportunity to lead this panel, to facilitate these questions from these amazing women. It has been a great opportunity, and I've loved it and enjoyed it. Y'all have been great. So we are now going to have our announcements that will be given to us by Marcus, our Ed McMahon of the group.
Oh, brother. Coming up next at any given time, maybe it says 1/2 but whatever we posted the link on the SBC pages, we are going to go to the after party where we are also going to talk about tonight's show and maybe some more questions that we haven't answered in the conversation. So please join us and watch out for that Zoom link, ladies and gentlemen. in the SBCC page. And yes, we are going to have a Saturday night social this Saturday night around 10:05 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you bring your snacks, your wine, or whatever feelings that you may have to share in the group. And let's have a good time on the Saturday night social. And of course, follow us on Facebook at Single Black Christians and at Mike Walker SBC on YouTube, because we are going to have another very, very entertaining episode of Tuesday Talk, 9:05 p.m. Eastern time, exclusively on those two channels that you see on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your support, and good job, Leslie. A very, very awesome job.
You're so sweet. Y'all are so sweet. All right, well, that concludes our show. We'll see y'all at the after party. Woohoo! Have a good night. Bye, y'all.
Yeah.